Okay, nice. Morley. Okay, so today let's talk about Chiti. We have discussed about volumes already, EBS volumes. Remember what is volume? Hard disk. What is the default volume that we get? Root volume. Fantastic. And what are the rest of the volumes called? Additional volume. Okay. How many root volumes you can have? Only one root volume. How many? Can we have multiple additional volumes? Yes. What is the maximum size of the volume? Oh, nice. 16 terabyte. Fantastic. And okay, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, just to stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost because your data is saved in volumes. What volumes are those? EBS volumes. So we have just touched on the volumes. Now we'll go a little bit deeper on the volumes. Okay? Fantastic. So volumes. Chitty, basically, volumes are classified into two types. What is that? Volumes are classified into two types. Not root volume, additional volume. We are not talking about that. Okay? Little bit above. So one we call it as EBS volume that we know, and another one we call it as instance store volumes. What is it? What are the two types of volumes we have? EBS volume, instance store volume. In shortcut, you can call it as ISV. What is that? ISV. So because in certification questions, they'll put ISV. What is ISV? Is nothing but instance store volume. EBS volumes that we know already, because EBS volumes are, your voice is not clear. Chidi, can you, am I audible online? Okay. So this EBS volume, as you just said, Chiti, as you just said, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost here? No. So do you mean this is persistent volume or not persistent volume? Persistent. What is the meaning of persistent? Persistent meaning permanent. Persistent meaning permanent. So EBS volume, can I call it as persistent? So persistent storage or permanent. Permanent storage. So that meaning, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is not lost because that is a EBS volume. It is a persistent storage. What is the maximum size of the volume? Yes, EBS maximum size, EBS volume maximum size. Maximum size is 16 TB. What in our free tier, what is the Windows volume size that you get by default? Windows 30 GB. Linux 8 GB or 10 GB. So if you are creating more than that, it is billable or not? Obviously, it is billable. So EBS is billable? Yes, EBS is billable. How much that you get? You need to pay for that. EBS is billable. EBS volumes are billable. Okay, let me complete that EBS section. Later we go with the ISV. Okay, first EBS, let us complete. So guys, till now we have learned about root volume, additional volume. That is volumes. Root volume, additional. Both are volumes only, no? Okay. Now, what volumes are those? EBS volumes. So in this EBS volumes, we have different types of EBS volume. What are those? Different types we have. Right? Different types we have. So let's say if you take a tire, or if you take any tire, car tire or bike tire. So the tire is there, but you have different types, no? MRF tire is there, and some other different type of tires are there. Similarly, here we have volumes. In that volumes also we have different types of volumes. So based on the requirement, you need to go for it. So if you need to have super powerful tire, which one will you go for it for car? MRF, obviously. It will give a good performance, correct? Will you go for the local made? You can go for the local made, but is it recommended? No. Will it give the good performance? No. So here also in our real-time environment, based on the requirement, you need to go and select the volume type. Which type we will learn. What are the different types of volume we have? We will see now. So now types of volumes. Types of EBS volumes. Slowly, aram se, smooth as butter. So the first type we call it as general purpose. What is it, Nana? General purpose. For that, we have a shortcut called GP2, GP3. What are in general purpose? What are the types of volumes we have? GP2, GP3. This is SSD. What is SSD? SSD, solid state disk, right? We have two types of disk, no? HDD, SSD. Which one is faster? Our laptops, everything is SSD only, no? Your phone, mobiles, everything SSD only. So this is SSD. So this is used for your general purpose. This is for general purpose. Okay. So in general purpose, what are the types of volumes we have? GP2, GP3. GP represents here general purpose. And next we have something called provisioned IOPS. Provisioned IOPS. In provisioned IOPS, we have IO1, IO2. This is also SSD. This is for the high performance. Today, what is that? We have provisioned IOPS. What is that? We need to call them. Okay. So what is the full form of IOPS? Anyone? It is there here, sir. It is not coming out. Huh? Input output per second. What is that? Input output per second. IOPS. I'll talk about that soon. First list down. So we have in general purpose what we have? GP2, GP3. Say that everyone. GP2, GP3. In provisioned IOPS, IO1, IO2. And then we have called throughput. Throughput. In shortcut, ST1. This is HDD. This is for frequently access data with cheaper price. And then we have cold, which is called SC1. First, let me write not frequently access data with cheaper price. And then magnetic, which is called standard. Yes. Okay. Now, please listen. See here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types. How many types of volumes are there, Nana? 5 types of volumes. What are those? Say with me. Say with me. Here, see me. General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. So in shortcut, we call it as, see, tell me like this. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1, standard. Simple. See me again. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1, stand. Bas, khatam. Registered, no? Right? So these are the different types of volumes we have. So based on the requirement, we need to go ahead and select it. Okay, now, so I want to go and launch one small EC2 instance with normal general purpose, good performance. Which one would you suggest? GP2 you suggest. Okay. And then you need to have a super high performance. Which one would you suggest? IO1. Understood? So here IOPS meaning input outputs per second. Okay. So let's say, for example, you are launching an EC2 instance and you are installing a database. Database is sitting on the volume only, no? So if you need to have a good performance for the database from the volume, what type of volume will you use? IOPS, IO2 or IO1 or IO2, you can use it. No, you want to use it for general relating. No, I don't want super high, extreme high performance. I want good performance. Which one would you suggest? GP2 you suggest. And now you want to daily access it, but performance is not that required for you. And you want it for cheaper price. Which one you go for? ST1, you can go for it. Which one? ST1. And you are not using the EC2 instance at all. You launch one time and once in a while you are using it. And then you go for SC1, which is cold. Magnetic meaning previous generation. So slowly AWS will remove that. It is a very cheap and very low performance volume, which is a magnetic. Okay, now you understood which one is used. So by default, which is the volume type that you get is GP2, because that is a very common one. Which is the default? This is a certification question. Which is the default volume type? GP2. GP2 is the default EBS volume type. What is the full form of IOPS, Nana? Input output per second. Input output per second. GP2 is the default volume type. Okay. So here, provisioned IOPS. What is that? Provisioned IOPS. Provisioned IOPS for IO1 and IO2. Guys, what is the meaning of IOPS? Input output per second. That meaning how many inputs and how many outputs that you're writing on your volume per second. How many inputs and outputs you want to get it from your volume. Like this, right? In olden days, you have seen, right? Hard disk is you have on the some needle will be there, will be rotating, right? So here, how many input output per second? How many input outputs per second that you need from the volume? That we can give the value for which type IOPS. For IO1 and IO2, you can give the value. How much? 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30, 40, 50, maximum 80,000 you can give. How much? Just imagine 80,000 IOPS if you have given, how much extreme high performance you will get. You get super high performance from that volume. If you go for 5,000, good performance. So how much value that you are increasing, that much money, that much bill that you will get more. Because AWS is giving good performance, no? If you want a good performance, you need to pay more. Correct? Similarly, no, local mid tire, some you will get it for 1,000 or 2,000. But MRF tires, it more than 5,000 or 6,000, 10,000, you will get it. Correct? So now here, can I say IO1, IO2 are IOPS configurable? Yes or no? Can we go and configure IOPS values for that? Remember, not only IO1, IO2, GP3 also. Which one? Now, if I ask you a question, what are the volume types which are IOPS configurable? What is your answer? IO1, IO2 and GP3 are IOPS configurable. Certification question. So, write down IO1, IO2 and GP3 are IOPS configurable. Okay. That meaning you can input IOPS values. Maximum IOPS, how much, ma? 80,000. This might change, but I am putting the star mark there. Huh? Okay. Nice. The more IOPS you give, the more bill you get. I mean, the more performance and bill you get. Good. Okay. So which one is the default volume type? GP2. Now you can say, right? Now you can say, sir, our GP2, how is the performance for the GP2? GP2 also have a very good performance. And that too, guys, which one are SSD? Do you see that? Which one are SSD? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2 are SSD. Rest are all HDD. By seeing like that only, you can easily say which one are the good performance volume types. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2. So you can pick out of those things. And what is the difference between GP2 and GP3? GP3 we can give IOPS configurable. GP2 is configurable? No. But that is the default value, right? For the GP2, we have automatically 1:3 ratio, you will get it. How much? If you give 1 GB volume, how many IOPS AWS will give? 3 IOPS. If you are giving 50 GB, how many IOPS will get? 150 you will get. If you are giving 500, you are getting, understood? So automatically GP2 has, what is the ratio of IOPS that you get? 1:3. Certification question. GP2 has default IOPS. How much? 1:3. So that meaning for 1 GB, you get 3 IOPS. IOPS configurable? No. IOPS not configurable. One is to 3 ratio. Okay. IOPS not configured. Okay. So that is the difference. What is the difference between GP2 GP3? GP2 is not IOPS configurable. GP3 is IOPS configurable. Okay. So now we have root volume and additional volume, correct? So what is the default volume that you get? Root only. But that root volume should be one of the volume type, no? Definitely volume should be one of the type. And now the question here is, root volume support which volume types here? You tell me. Root volume is good to have ST1 and SE1. Root volume, for your root volume is nothing but your operating system. For that operating system, is it recommended to give ST1, SE1? No, right? Because that is very slow one. So root volume supports GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, last one standard. Which one will not support? ST1, SE1 will not support. So now root, if I ask you a question, root volume support what volume types? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, or you can say except ST1, SC1. Additional volume supports all. Additional volume supports all. Guys, nowhere you will get all these things. I'm telling you, these are all deeper certification questions. Okay. So please write down. Root volume supports these volume types. Which volumes? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, and standard. Very nice. Now, additional volumes. Additional volumes support all types. So root volume doesn't support ST1 and SC1. and additional volume supports all types. Okay. As per our last theory, Chitin, one volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. One volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. Yes sir, no. I'm not talking about EFS. I'm talking about volumes. One volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. Answer is no. No. That is for normal people, they understand. Okay. But little bit advanced and deeper, if you go for it, there is one type. There is one type of volume which can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. That one is IO1 and IO2. Which one? IO1, IO2. So rest are all, you cannot do it. But this is also very latestly AWS released it. So which volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? IO1, IO2. But generally, can you attach it? No. Generally, by say default, it is no. But which is the additional advanced IO1 and IO2 is the volume types which you can attach to multiple EC2 instances. You know how many EC2 instances that you can attach? 16 EC2 instances. How many? 16. If you have 16 EC2 instances, one volume which can be IO1 or IO2 can be attached to how many EC2 instances? 16 EC2 instances. Latest certification question. All right. So IO1, IO2 can be multi-attached. So attach the same EBS volumes to multiple EC2 instances at the same time in same availability zone. And how many you can attach? 16 you can attach. Up to 16 EC2 instances at a time can be attached. Super. Okay. Is it clear, ma, on the EBS? Everyone? Deeper and then see here. Quickly. Chitty, see here quickly. I'll register in your brains now. So mainly how many types of EBS volumes are there? 5 types. Okay. 5 categories. What are those? General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, and magnetic. In shortcut, GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1, standard. Fantastic. So which one are giving high performance? IO1, IO2. Which one are for general purpose? GP2. Which one are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2, and GP3. Which one is a default volume type? GP2. What is the ratio of GP2? And root volume supports which volume types? Except ST1, SE1, it supports all. Additional volume supports all types. And which volume type can have multi-attached? IO1, IO2. For how many EC2 instances? Bas. Got it? Super. Excellent. There is no ratio for GP3. Only GP2. Okay. So now, that is on the EBS volume side. Let's talk about instant store volume. Chitti, EBS volumes are persistent storage, no? What is the meaning of persistent? Permanent. Permanent, that meaning if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost? No. But coming to this instant store volume, these are called not persistent storage. Which one? Not persistent. Not persistent storage. Is it permanent or temporary? It's a temporary storage or temporary volumes. Is it temporary volumes? What is the meaning of temporary? That meaning if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost or gone or deleted. Data is lost. And guys, EBS volumes are billable. EBS volumes are billable, and instance store volumes are free. Okati. Right? Instance store volumes are free. So instance store volumes are free. So the first question that you will get in your mind, if it is free, sir, yanta? How much volume size is free? Because what is the maximum volume size for EBS? 16 terabyte. But as instance store volumes are free, you will get a question in your mind, sir, how much size it is free? Is it 16 terabyte? No, Chitti, no. Okay, I'm telling you, see. So, which is the instance type that we are launching? Instance type, we should be using it. T2 micro. Which one? That you need to clearly say. Which is the instance type that we should be using in our course? T2 micro. So do you have bigger instance types also? T2 2x large, R1 1000 GB, 2000 GB. So there are so many, some big machines are there. 100 GB. So if you keep on, if you have a bigger instance type, if you go and launch bigger instance type, for that AWS will give you as a complimentary. How much? It depends upon AWS. It can be 500 GB, 1000 GB, 2000 GB, 5000 GB, 7000 GB, how much ever it is. AWS will give you as a complimentary. Complimentary is nothing but free. Is it possible for us to go ahead and then attach instance store volume? No. Who will provide this? AWS will provide this automatically. When if you go and launch bigger instance types. Is it for us it is possible to go and create? No, AWS will provide. That's why instance store volumes are free. Why it is free? I'll tell you. And this is Pakka certification question, guys. These instance store volumes are also called as what is that? Read. Huh? Yampa. Imperial blue. What is that? Yeah. Ephemeral. What is that? Ephemeral storage. What is that? Ephemeral storage. So instance store volumes are also called as ephemeral storage. Okay. Okay. One general question I'm asking, certification question. Let's see whether you're able to answer it or not. So guys, think and answer. If you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volume will be deleted or not? Yes or no? Okay. So now you are saying no. Let me give you the logic and you tell me the answer. I have launched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 EC2 instances. How many root volumes will be there? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 root volumes are there. Now what you did, you went and then terminated the EC2 instances. And you are saying root volumes will not be deleted. Root volumes will not be deleted. So what will we do with these root volumes? What will you do with these root volumes? So if you keep on terminating the EC2 instances, the root volumes will get stagnant, right? It will be a very big list of root volumes. Is there any use of the root volumes? No. So now you tell me, if you terminate the EC2 instances, by default, root volumes will also be deleted. Understood? And now why it is deleted? Because there is one small checkbox is there. That checkbox name is delete on termination. What is that? Two times. Delete on termination. So delete on termination is there is a property where it is checked for the root volume. For the root volume, there is a property called delete on termination is checked. That meaning when you terminate the EC2 instance, root volume will also be deleted on termination. But can you check, uncheck also? Na? If I have a question, as an interviewer, I'll ask, is it possible to retain your root volume? Answer is yes. Retain meaning what? Not to delete. If you terminate the EC2 instance, I don't want root volume to also get deleted. Then what you need to do? Uncheck. By default, it is checked, unchecked. Checked. That is why if you terminate the EC2 instance, root volume is also getting deleted. Okay. Another question. If you terminate the EC2 instance, additional volume will be deleted automatically? Answer is no, because additional volume has our data inside it. So delete on termination is check, uncheck? Unchecked. But if you want additional volume also to get deleted, check that. Can you play with it? Check, uncheck, check, uncheck. Yes. You understood now? Question? No. Repeat. Okay. So if you terminate the EC2 instance if you terminate the EC2 instance, you have the root volumes, no? So let's say you have 5 EC2 instances and you terminated all 5 EC2 instances. And you said root volumes will also be generally deleted, right? Why it is getting deleted? There is a property called delete on termination that is checked. So that means if you terminate the EC2 instance, root volume will also get deleted automatically. But for additional volumes, this delete on termination is checked, not checked. That's why it will be staying it. But if you want to get deleted for the root volume or uncheck, check, it's up to you whether you want to check it or uncheck it. Okay? Nice. So should I write that certification question? Yeah, we'll go and learn. There is a question after that, how can we use these volumes? Did we learn that volumes can be attached and detached? Chitty, volume can be attached and detached. Okay, I have one EC2 instance in 1A. I have 1A volume. Can I attach it to 1B EC2 instance? No, because it is a different availability zone. I have 2 EC2 instances in the same availability zone. Can I detach this and attach it to another EC2 instance? Yes. I can detach root volume also. I can detach additional volume also. It's up to me based on my requirement. Right? So you can ask, sir, what is the requirement to detach the root volume? It is a kind of requirement. Right? Let's say, for example, Bhargav is there and me. We both are working in the same team. So my manager said, install this 10 tools. Install 10 tools. Bhargav spent overnight and he installed all the tools in his EC2 instance. Where are all the tools will get installed? In root volume only, no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Now what I do? I'll go and launch my EC2 instance. I detach that Bhargav's root volume, attach it to my EC2 instance. Can I do it? Yeah. There is also concept of backing up the volumes that we'll talk slowly. So it is not that you cannot remove Bhargav's root volume, attach it, but what Bhargav will do, right? He will not be happy. It is like a person with no heart. He'll die, right? So here we should not detach directly the root volumes. We have the concepts coming in, okay? But I just gave you the scenario. Okay, so now should I write that certification question here? Okay. So if you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volume will also be deleted because delete on termination is checked or enabled. There, delta termination is checked. So if you want the root volume to be retained, uncheck termination while launching the EC2 instance. If you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, additional volumes will not be deleted because delete on termination is unchecked or disabled. Guys, why I'm putting this much effort to write? Because I know you. If I tell and leave, you might forget maybe after 6 months. Okay. But if I write it, if you just go and read my pains, everything will get recollected. Correct? As I always tell you, your kids will also learn AWS from these pains automatically. What is that feeling? Oh, and the bagunda. Kids, if you terminate the EC2 instance by default, additional volumes. Okay. Will not be deleted. Okay. So, based on the instance type, thank you, Srikant. Based on the instance type, you select mostly the big instance type. You will get the instance store volumes automatically attached by AWS for free. So this one I wrote. How do you get the instance store volumes? Okay. Nana, is this clear till here, everyone? Chiti, this is clear online? CC? Non-IT, you're getting it? Very nice. Very nice. So just concentrate. If we not add big instance, then ISV is free. As I said, is it possible to create instance store volume by us? No, it will get automatically by AWS. Okay, so guys, we have two types of volumes, na? EBS instance store volume. Which point here? Sir, is it while terminating the EC2 instance? Which, yes, correct. While terminating only. Okay, guys, now we have EBS volume, instance store volume. If you stop, data is lost. Data is not lost. Here, if you stop, data is lost. Here, if you reboot, okay, if you terminate, data is lost. Data is lost. Obviously, no, if you terminate, data is lost. Here also, if you terminate, data is lost. And we have another option, reboot. If you reboot, data is lost. Data is lost or not lost? Data is not lost. But if you reboot, data is lost or not lost? Lost or not lost? But I will say data is not lost. Where did I wrote wrong here? So I say, which line? Srika, is that Sheshadri? If you terminate the EC2 instance by default, correct. If you terminate the EC2 instance by default, correct only, no? Where did I wrote wrong? So just clarify. Okay. So guys, if you want the root volume to be retained, uncheck. Correct. No, this one. Guys, if you want the root volume to be retained, what you need to do? Uncheck it. Which one? Delete on termination while launching the EC2 instance. Correct only. Okay. See here. Are you interested to know this? Generally, instance store volumes are temporary volumes. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost. If you terminate, data is lost. But if you reboot, generally data should be lost because it is temporary, but it is not lost. It is not lost. Generally, people will not maybe they will not touch this at all. But we have a habit of going deeper, no? Should we go and learn the logic behind it? Actually, we don't need to know this. Okay? But what is happening in the back end of AWS? Should we know this? Let's go and learn that. So I want you to listen this carefully, guys, as you always do. See here, everyone, very important. So what do we have in the back end? What machines are those? What machines are those? Host machines. Back end of AWS, in the AWS. So you have host machines. You have a hardware. On top of it, hypervisor. So this is a host machine. This is a host. Who is handling this host machine? AWS. This is also a host machine. This is a hardware. This is also hardware. On top of it, you have hypervisor. Oh yeah. What is the which company is used to install this virtualization layer? VMware. So that meaning AWS should be using VMware in the backend, but Chitti, AWS is not using VMware. It is using a technology called Zen. What is that? Zen. XCN. Zen. What is that? Zen. Remember this, write down. AWS is using Zen virtualization technology in the backend. AWS is using Zen virtualization technology in the backend. AWS is using Zen virtualization technology in the backend. Okay, Nana. See here. No, it is not AWS related. It is not AWS proprietary one. No. Okay, see here. Now, very important. You should not miss the flow. See here. So these are all the EC2. These are all the host machines in the backend. Correct? If you go and launch the EC2 instance, it will go and sit over here. Yes or no? Okay. Yes. Everyone should listen this carefully. No gusa. See here, EC2 here. Okay. I went and launched the EC2 instance. So this EC2 instance will have the volume, no? What volume are those? EBS volumes. What volume, Nana? EBS. So do you all know EBS is nothing but is central storage? EBS is nothing but a central storage. You create a volume in EBS, attach it to the EC2 instance, correct? EBS is a central storage. You create a volume in EBS and attach it here. That meaning you created it and then you attach it here. You created and attach it here. Yes or no? Okay, nice. AWS is using one strategy in the backend. I'll tell you. So let's see the difference between this EBS and then instance store volumes. How it is behaving. Instance. Today, in EBS, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, Ah, I understand. See here, guys. If you stop and start, the EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. No one knows this. When you stop and start the EC2 instance, what will happen? It will jump from one host to another host. That meaning, see here, carefully, see here. So if you stop and start the EC2 instance, what will happen? This will jump from where? From here to another here, from here to here, it will jump. It is jumping over here. See here, once it is jumping, EC2, it has a root volume, no? Root volume, yes or no? It is a root volume. So if it is jumping, just only the pointer is changing, no? Yes or no? The pointer is changing to here. The pointer is just because that is the data is stored. This is central storage, right? So if you stop and start the EC2 instance, jumpa, no jumpa. Jump from one host to another host. So if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost or not lost? Not lost, because the data is stored centrally in the EBS. Okay, now I have these two people. Right? So I am the central storage. So if this guy sitting in that corner also, he can listen my voice. And this guy sitting in the corner there also, he can listen. So I'm central storage here, right? Similarly here, these are two EC2 instances which are connected to me centrally, EBS volumes. So if anywhere they can go, I can just the pointing to that particular location, right? So that means if you stop and start the EC2 instance, jump will happen. Data is lost here. Carefully listen this. Data is not lost. Data is not lost. Okay. Chitty, when you reboot, the concept is no jump. What is that? Concept in no jump. If you reboot, what will happen? No jump. So it is sitting on the same host. Guys, it is sitting on the same host. So if you reboot, data is lost because it is stored centrally in EBS. If you reboot, data is not lost. Data is not lost. Okay, here the core concept here is, if you stop and start, jump or no jump? Jump. If you reboot, no jump. Stop and start, jump. Reboot, no jump. As we are using EBS volume, which is centralized storage, if you stop and start also, reboot also, data is not lost because data is stored centrally in the EBS. Correct? But if you terminate, obviously data is lost. Terminate meaning terminate. Let's see what is happening with ISV. Very important. See here, everyone. Now I went and launched the EC2 instance, Nana. Okay. I went and launched the EC2 instance. Which color? I went launched. See, this is the key. I went and launched the EC2 instance. Tell me, guys, this is the host machine, no? Host machine will also have a hard disk. Host machine will also have a hard disk. Yes or no? Every laptop that is a host physical machine, no? That physical machine will have a hard disk. Let's say, okay, this has a hard disk. Guys, when you go and launch the EC2 instance, which is with instant store volume, what will happen, you know? This local hard disk will be attached here to the EC2 instance. Guys, the local hard disk is attached to the EC2 instance. I told you, this is which one? Instant store volumes. This is ISV. I'm talking about ISV. I told you, no. Is it possible for us to create ISV? No. Who will provide that? That's why when you go and launch this EC2 instance, automatically some size is attached from your local hard disk to EC2 instance, which is managed by AWS. Okay. So the local hard disk is attached. Now let's say, now if I stop and start, jump or no jump? No. Start and stop and start, what will happen? Jump will happen. Okay, let us jump. Okay. I will jump. So this EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. You tell me, Chitty. Now it has jumped from one host to another host. See here. If you jump from one host to another host, you tell me hard disk will jump. Hard disk will not jump. So this host machine will also have its own hard disk. A fresh hard disk, the fresh is allocated over here. So in that case, data is lost. So guys, the data is stored here. In this machine, the data is stored here. Correct? Is the once the EC2 instance jump from here to here, the data will be jumped from here to here. No, that means data is lost. Yes, that's why I said stop and start. Jump will happen. Data is lost. Data is lost. That is what we have learned. Data is lost. Okay, now if you reboot it, jumpa, no jumpa? No jump. No jump. If it is no jump is happening, see here, I rebooted this EC2 instance. It is jump. It is not jump. It is staying on the same machine. So the data is still available. Data is lost or not lost? That is data is not lost. That is the reason. This is the logic behind it. Okay, data is not lost. So that's why you have to be very careful that which is the volume that we should be using in real time. EBS volumes, not instant store. But if you are using instant store volume, what will happen? Data will be lost. But you should know, as a technical expert, as a research students, so in real time, you have an EC2 instance with instant store volume. Manager say, hey, don't reboot, data will be lost. Then you should stand and say, better. If you reboot, data is not lost. Because jumpa, no jumpa? No jump. But this will know? No one knows this. So how do you know, sir? Right? So that's how we struggled in our starting days. Right? I did so many mistakes. These are all coming out of my mistakes. Okay? Very good. Excellent, guys. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, see, guys. Now, Chitty, when you're launching the EC2 instance, when you launch the EC2 instance, you went to the console here. You went to the console, you launch the EC2 instance. How do you know whether the EC2 instance is launched properly or not? Yes or no? If it is not launched properly, will you able to log in? No. EC2 console, it is a code only, no? You click launch instance, and instance will be launched. That means backend code will execute, no? API calls will be executed. So if you click on launch instance, EC2 instance will launch. Launched by whom? By AWS. That EC2 instance is getting launched properly or not, we should know. So for that, AWS will do 2 checks. AWS will do how many checks? 2 checks. There are 2 checks. What checks? Status check. What checks na? Status. There are two types of status checks. Number 1, we call it as instance status check, and then system status check. What are the 2 checks? Everyone, what are the 2 checks? Instance status check and system status check. There is a question. You guys should answer this. If EC2 instance update or upgrade, Dheeraj, if EC2 is Dhanshri, if EC2 instance update or upgrade, you're talking about the EC2 instance type, or you're talking about the operating system inside it, upgrade or all. That is important, correct? Update, upgrade meaning OS. Windows. Okay, so we need to go a little bit deeper. Guys, we already learned this. It is your job to upgrade the Windows operating system? AWS, we have coming topics. Slowly we'll go there. AWS will have a predefined image, the predefined something will be there. You can use it directly. Remember images iOS or not iOS, ISO. Remember ISOs. Do you upgrade by yourself? No, you create and the template is ready. Here also we have the templates, you can use it. There is no upgrade update. If any package you have upgrade inside the machine, data is lost. No. Okay, what are the two status checks we have? Instance status check and system status check. Guys, instance status check meaning it will check hardware check. It will do the hardware check. System status check meaning it will do the software check. Software check. Hardware check and software check. Hardware check meaning whether the EC2 instance has launched properly or not. EBS volume got attached properly or not. Right? That is called a hardware check. System status check meaning software check. IP address got assigned or not. So it will check. Now you tell me, these two status checks should be passed. Yes or no? If one of the status check is failed, will you able to log into the EC2 instance? So we need to, and AWS need to make sure this 2/2 checks are passed. Then only you will able to log into the EC2. There might be chances that sometimes 1/2 checks will be passed. 1/2 checks are passed. There might be chances like 0/2 checks are passed. Will you able to log into the EC2 instance? No. If you do like this, if you get like this, cannot log into EC2. What will you do in that case? Huh? What will you do? Okay, now you launch the EC2 instance. You launch the EC2 instance and Posuk, you got 1/2 checks passed. What will you do? What will you do? You terminate and then launch a new one. But let's say you are using a database machine and somehow you stopped and start and you got 1/2, your database machine which cannot be terminated. In this case, what you do? Apply the logic. Guys, when you launch the EC2, where does the EC2 instance will go and launch? On the host machine only, no? Yes or no? On the host machine only. Your EC2 instance didn't launch properly on that host machine because there is a problem with the host machine. So what will you do to make this EC2 instance clear? Just to stop and start. If you stop and start, what will happen? It will jump from one host to another host. If you just stop and start, what will happen? It will go into the another host, which is healthy. And then you get 2/2 checks will be passed. So do you need to terminate it? What you need to do simply stop. This is also from experienced people. This is a tip. Many people will get, oh my God, right? So EC2 instance 1/2, I cannot able to log in, what to do? And they terminate it. What you have a lot of data inside it. Simply what you do, stop and start. But do you know the logic? What will happen? Stop and start. Jump or no jump? So it will jump to the good host machine or new host machine where EC2 instance checks will be nicely passed. Got it? Nice. So who will do these checks? AWS do these checks. So if you get 1/2 or 0/2 checks are passed, what you need to do? You can stop and start the EC2 instance. Doesn't matter if it is same EC2 instance. One EC2 instance can be in two different availability zones at the same time. No. So just stop and start. Doesn't matter with the availability zone. You will get 2/2 checks passed. No. Stop and start. No. Provided if you have EBS volumes. If you have instance store volumes, data loss. What if we stop and start the EC2 instance and still we get 1/2 checks pass? How many times we need to follow this process? Maximum, if you do one time, it is done. If you got something, if you got again, do it again. Stop and start. There is no harm. There's no harm in doing it. But generally, 99% EC2 instance will be proper. Somewhere, once in a while, you get 1/2 checks passed. So once, if at all you get like this, you will stop and start. So another solution, what will you do? Another solution, terminate the EC2 instance, but not recommended. So for every one stop and start, 1 hour is added to the bill. Yes or no? Obviously yes. But in real time, will you see who will pay the bill? Company will pay the bill. Nah? So why you worried? Stop and start. Huh? Huh? You are the AWS engineer, right? You have keys with you. Okay. Yeah, everything will be tracked. If your manager come and say, okay, Chitty, tell me, will you go and play? Stop, start. Tell me. Once in a while you do. How? Okay, once in a month you do 3 times, 4 times. Nothing wrong. Okay. So, guys, if you want to get super good performance, will you choose EBS volume or instant store volume? Think and answer today. EBS volumes is network attached storage. Yes or no? NAS, network attached storage. Somewhere EBS, somewhere will be there. Through network, we are attaching it. And if you have instant store volume, is directly from the host machine. So if you want to have a super performance, which one will you use? Instant store volume, you use it. But is recommended to use. But make sure if it is temporary, if you are not stopping the machine, and if you want it process to be happen faster, then go for ISV. But will you get the ISV just like that? How do you get the ISV volumes? You need to go for bigger instance type. Pay more. AWS is very cunning fellow, no? So you are going bigger instance type where you will be paying more money, and complimentary is giving instance store volumes free. So okay. So here I'll write just for certificate. So EBS volumes are network drives, correct? With good but limited performance. So in EBS volume, if you need to have a super high performance, which one would you vote for? IO1, IO2. And there also you have a limit, right? So yeah. If you need a high performance hardware disk, use ISV. But risk of data loss if you stop or if hardware fails. There is a question, sir, if you purchase dedicated host, can we go for ISV? You can. If you are using ISV, sir. Yes. So you can, but see, I'm telling you, see guys, everyone, I am the EC2. See, you are going and launching the EC2 instance. Okay. I'm telling you, AWS is telling you, Babu, this is EBS volume. This hand is the EBS volume. This is the instance store volume. You have 2 types of volumes. This one is permanent storage. If you stop, start, reboot, data is not lost. And you need to pay for this. And AWS saying this is instance store volume, which is I'm giving it for free. Generally free meaning we'll go and take it. But the thing is here, it's free, but data is lost here. When if you stop and start, if you don't stop it, if you don't stop the EC2 instance, data will still be there. It is up to you whether you want to choose this or this. And let's say you can say that, sir, I'll go for instance store volume. I don't stop the EC2 instance and I'll use it. Use it, no? But terms and conditions apply. If you pusuk stopped, data is gone. It is up to you whether you want to deal with this or not. AWS is giving you so many options. It is up to you whether you want to use it or not. There is a question, sir, can we choose ISV rather than EBS? But you told ISV allocated by AWS. How can we select ISV? I said AWS, this ISV will be allocated by whom? AWS. If it is allocated by AWS, is it possible for us to select? You cannot select. Akhil, answer is for you. You cannot select. When you're going in and launching the EC2 instance, you select the instance type. T2 micro is the small one. You will not get it. Go for the bigger one. And AWS will automatically attach the D drive, E drive, F drive automatically with the size. ISV. Guys, if you're using ISV, backups and all, who should take care? We need to take care. Yes or no? We need to take care. Okay? Okay, simple. Yeah. You have a pen drive. Okay? You have a pen drive. Pen drive you're attaching to the machine. And you are scared, no, sometimes data will be deleted or not. So we'll take the backup of it because that is temporary storage, no? Similarly, here also, AWS is providing ISV where you can put the data. But if you are scared that data will be deleted, take the backup and put it somewhere. So backup, whose responsibility is this? Backups is is customer's responsibility. Okay. Yes, you can, but you need to wait for that. Amol, there is a topic. There is a topic coming in. Is it clear? Today's topic? Interesting, no? Okay. Quickly, we have 3 minutes. Quickly, Chitty. Okay. Volumes are classified into how many types? 2 types. What are those? EBS volume and then instance store volume. Online guys, answer it. EBS volume and instance store volume. Which one is permanent volumes? Which one is persistent volumes? EBS. Which one is temporary volumes? Which one are not persistent volumes? ISV. What is another name of ISV? Ephemeral. Ephemeral. M silent. Ephemeral storage or ephemeral volumes. Okay. And what is the maximum size of EBS volume? 16 terabyte. If you stop and start the EC2 instance which has EBS volume attached, data is lost. If you reboot, data is lost. If you terminate, data is lost. Yes. So if you stop and start ISV volume attached EC2 instance, data is lost. Yes. If you reboot, data is lost. No. Correct? So stop and start, jump or no jump? Jump. Reboot? No jump. So how many different types, categories of EBS volumes you have? Types of EBS volume? 5. What are those? General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. In shortcut, in APIs, or what is the shortcuts? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1, standard. Fantastic. So which one is the default volume? GP2. Which one are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2 and GP3. Fantastic. And the GP2 has what is the ratio of IOPS? 1:3. And root volume support which volume types? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, standard. Does it support ST1, SE1? No. Additional volume supports all types. And which is the volume you can attach to multiple EC2 instances? IO1 and IO2. How many EC2 instances that you can have? 16 EC2 instances you can have. Okay. And then if you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volume will be deleted? Yes. Why? Because what is the checkbox? delete on termination. What is that? Delete on termination is check. If you terminate the EC2 instance, additional volume is deleted? No. Why? Delete on termination is uncheck. So this check, uncheck is your responsibility? Yes. Based on your requirement, you can go and check and uncheck. As an interviewer, can I say that is it possible to retain your root volume? Yes. So what you need to do? Uncheck while launching the EC2 instance. Okay. And then how do you get, and this instance or volumes are free or charged? It's a free. ISV volumes are free. Okay. And is it possible for us to go and select the size? No. Who will provide it? AWS. AWS will provide it. And then there are two types of status checks. What are those? Instance status check and system status check. So one will check hardware and second will check software. So we need to get 2/2 check should be passed. If at all you get 1/2 or 0/2, will you able to log into the EC2 instance? No. What you need to do in that case? Stop and start the EC2 instance. So if you have any certification question like this, you want to have super extreme high performance with very cheaper price or no price at all. So which one will go, EBS or ISV? ISV. Whenever you say free, no charge, no bill, go with ISV. Otherwise, go with EBS. So in our course, which one we should be using it? EBS only. Because which is the instance type we should be using it? T2 micro. If you want to use ISV, you need to go for the bigger instance type, which is not under free tier. You will get the bill. Super. Excellent. Revision also done. Excellent. Can you give the final CC for today, guys? Screenshots. Take it, please. Yeah, take the screenshots. And the second one. Okay, great. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you tomorrow with the next topic. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.